Well, welcome along to a Get Stuck In with a Difference. First of all, I'm in the host seat, David Orr, joined in the studio here in Leeds by Dan Barber and Phil Turner. We're talking all things Randox Grand National. How could we do that without Niall Hannity? I mean, this is a bit like the old days of the Big Breakfast and Keith Chegwin. I'm going to shout out now, where are you, Niall?
Dave, I am at Liverpool, not to see the league leaders. I'm here for the Grand National Weights. I'm meant to be with Martin Dixon, but I can't find him. Can you find him? Do you know where he is? Martin, we know, is not the brightest star in the sky. He is lost, but I've got a naval deputy. Look at this here. Neptune Collonge, winner of the 2012 Grand National for Daryl Jacob and Paul Nichols. So he's going to help today. We're going to speak to many of the main protagonists who've got runners, including Gordon Elliott. I've just had breakfast with Gordon, and he's just after having a sausage for every runner he's got in the National this year. And after polishing off his 23rd sausage, he put up Galvin as a horse that he's really keen on this year. We're going to hear more from Gordon about his breakfast and his runners throughout the next few minutes, and plenty of the other trainers, so stick with us.
Thanks, Niall, there in Liverpool. We'll be heading back there as he speaks to some star names along the way to get their thoughts on the Grand National Weights. Talking of star names, Dan and Phil are here with us. Phil, you spent much of the morning crunching the numbers, getting those Timeform ratings ready for the Randox Grand National. What comes out top of the pops?
Well, it was some familiar names there and almost deja vu, really, because Delta Work, I think, was top at this stage last year when the weights came out, and he's nearly top again. But last year's runner-up, Vanillier, just shades it on the figures as things stand at the minute, and I know he's a horse that Dan's pretty keen on.
Yeah, I don't... This will be discussed a lot in the lead-up, obviously, this entry factor and entry form. It almost feels like that's a dying art and a dying aspect of form study for the race, but it's still nice to have it. It's no negative to have shown your form at the track, and any doubts that Vanillier were held against him last season probably did centre around, well, will he jump well enough to cope with the fences? But he did so. He came from a long way back, was a fast finishing second. At the end of that trip, I mean, it was some effort. I mean, this is a horse who won an Albert Bartlett in his prime. That prime may still be around in these marathon handicaps, and in my view, he ran into possibly the best handicap Grand National winner we've seen in recent times in Corach Rambler, who was so well in after winning the Ultima. So I think any shortlist, however long or short, must have Vanillier in it. And as far as I'm concerned, because of that form and the way he'd shaped last year, he has to be top of it.
Phil, we've looking at this Grand National. By my GCSE maths, grade B, there's 6 British horses guaranteed to make the final field 34 at the minute. But recent form can change. It ought to be more significant in Grand Nationals nowadays.
Well, yeah, I mean, with the weights coming out so early, a lot can happen. We've got lots of big races can take place between then and the race itself. If you think back to last year's renewal, the big dog, he'd done all his sort of big wins earlier in the year. He'd won the Munster National, the Troy Town Chase. He finished 3rd in the Welsh National. And he ran a fine race at Aintree, finished 5th, but he'd shown his hand. He was weighted up to the hilt, and the 4 horses who finished in front of him, they all advertised their claims to varying degrees after the weights came out. In particular, the first 2, as Dan's already mentioned, Corach Rambler was extremely well handicapped. So was Vanillier. And as I say, it's just something to bear in mind. You know, we see all the prices now. We're getting all excited about the Grand National, but a lot can happen between here and the race itself.
We're going to hear from Gordon Elliott later on in the show. He's dominating the entries numerically. He's got loads in the handicap. Dan, this might bore you. There was talk of restricting the number of horses a single trainer could run. The BHA have decided against it. Could you imagine if you're Gordon Elliott now, looking at that team, trying to whittle that down to 4?
Well, I'm not sure you'd have the likes of Sam Crow, or say, on the list.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
There are a few who they've been described as bed blocks. I don't think it's that. I just think it's you've got horses rated high enough, so you stick them in the race just in case. A lot of them have that sort of negative, slightly regressive profile. I'd say one of Gordon's who doesn't is Salvador Ziggy, to bring another name into it. And also he's got Favre de Champdou, a horse who you just wouldn't have got an animal like this in a Grand National of yesteryear. But we've seen that new ground has been broken in recent times. Rule the World was a second season chaser, but still a novice for Gigginstown. And obviously Noble Yates won it in his first season over fences. So that the landscape has definitely changed. It's made it a more open race to some extent. It's allowed horses that wouldn't have had a crack to be encouraged to have a crack. Favre de Champdou is a novice. He's running 10 ups and stuff like that. Maybe Gordon can get him back. But I like the good handicap form of Salvador Ziggy. He's always been a thorough stayer. really good form over hurdles as well as he progressed through the handicap ranks. So I'm not saying he's definitely the number one. Would need to dig a bit deeper, but I don't think there'd be many of Gordon's ahead of him in the list. And he too, we talk about enhancing your claims, appears the National Hunt Chase will be the aim for him. He could easily be one of the picks of the weights in the aftermath of that.
Well, that's the point, though, about novices. I mean, obviously, he's another novice, Salvador Ziggy. If you think, like, the Scottish national novices have had a good record in that historically, well, why shouldn't it apply to Aintree now as well, now that the fence is a bit easier? I think you will sort of see more of those horses getting aimed if they can get qualified in time.
Those Timeform ratings we've got on the screen, it's tight, as you would expect a Randox Grand National to be, Phil, right now. But have you got a horse or two you can give us that's on your radar for this year's race?
As usual with a national, there's plenty you can get excited about. Having said that, I actually think there's quite a number you can put a line through, probably more than normal. So the one I'm keenest on of the sort of the fancied ones at the minute is Marla Mission, who's a second season chaser. He actually would have won the National Hunt Chase last year, but for falling, looked to have the race at his mercy. The horse who looked to be left with a win, Chemical Energy, is another of Gordon's who's running, and I'd give him some sort of chance as well in the Grand National. He's had a very quiet campaign. They spent a lot of money to keep him in the yard at the recent dispersal sale, so I think he's possibly an interesting runner. But Marla Mission, despite that fall, I think Touchwood, he's normally a very, very solid jumper. And he ran a really, really good race in what used to be the Hennessy, now the Coral Gold Cup at Newbury. Runner up to That's All Right, Gino. That looked really, really strong, solid form. It's a race which has played out well in the National into the last 10 years or so. You often get sort of Corach Rambler finished fourth in it last year. I just think he's got a lot of the attributes you'd want for a national horse. I can see him being handy in the first sort of half dozen. Touchwood jumping really well, and I think he'll be there or thereabouts. So of the fancied ones, he's the one I'm keenest on, Marla Mission.
Got Vanilla from you, Dan. Can you give us anything else?
Yeah, I can. I do want a quick word on Late Night Pass because, I mean, I earmarked him for this race after the November fixture at Cheltenham on the cross-country course when you know he's now trained by a rules handler. Was with Tom Ellis, of course, partner of Gina Andrews, who's his regular rider. I don't think he's harmed his claims at all. He's got form over the national fences, courtesy of runs in the old Hunter Chase. And at the moment, he's got a stiff task on the figures. The BHA have given him 149, I think. I don't think he's run to that yet, but there's still scope, even though he's 11. He still feels like a bit of a blank canvas, and he might be able to raise his game. He'd maybe be one of the tops amongst the British at the moment. As you say, only 6 in it. It's not much of a competitive heat, that. But no, I'd reflect back on the idea of Salvador Ziggy and Vanillier being the two. Vanillier, the solidity factor. I don't think his price will lengthen between now and then. You're probably worth backing him now, but there's a real trading angle and an angle to get ahead of the bookies with Salvador Ziggy as well. Because of what we've mentioned, all's he need do, I say alls, but if he wins a National Hunt Chase, if he finishes a good second, he's automatically going to be well in. And he feels like, to me, with that handicap experience, that he's got the attributes that are required as well to excel in the race.
Well, before we head to our local garage for our meal deal, confirmation that Niall's put his knife and fork down in Liverpool. The 4-course feast is over, so I'm going to hand back to him as he brings you all the latest news from that Randox Grand National Weights lunch.
I still can't find Martin Dixon. Have I got an upgrade, a downgrade?
No, downgrade.
Downgrade?
Oh, yeah, without a shadow of a doubt.
At least Martin would wear a tie. Where's your tie? You look scruffy.
I'd be in the national weights, I'd be, 2 stone below him? I'd be about 78.
At least you're honest, which I like. Ed Chamberlin from ITV. It's brilliant to be at Liverpool. And you know, genuinely, it's the city gets behind the race. Look at this, Neptune Cologne, a couple of ponies.
Park Palace ponies
who were here last year. They do so fantastic work with the community. But as a broadcaster, how important is Grand National Day?
Well, I think
it's your biggest day?
Oh, by far the biggest day. And its secret is its connection with the community like this. Liverpool loves the Grand National. I used to come up and do the football here, used to get a bit of stick. I come up and do the Grand National, I can't pay for a coffee or a drink.
Yeah.
And to put it into perspective, Liverpool-Man United was always the biggest football game, no offence to Borough, but it was always United-Liverpool, and that would get 2.5, maximum 3 million viewers. Grand National would get double that in this country, and more, and hundreds of millions of people around the world.
Yeah, you speak to people anywhere, what do you do, work in horse racing? They never say, have you ever worked at the Derby or anything?
Did you used to be a jockey? Did you get us there?
All the time, they can tell still, obviously.
Yeah, athlete.
Obviously, yeah. We know you're a desperate tipster, so go on, give us 1 or 2 this year that won't win.
Panda Boy.
Right.
Each way at 20 to 1.
Right,
Yeah,
it's just
great trainer. Weight looks all right.
Panda Boy's win.
Mine isn't, none of yours.
No.
And I think he's got a big chance.
Good.
Yeah. You?
Vanillier last year. It was the slow grind because he gets himself a long way back, and he's a bit careful. He's a bit like an old-fashioned Grand National winner. But if it's slow grind, him, Gavin Cromwell.
They don't come back and win today.
Hedgehunter did. He fell the last, and he came out one.
Come back and win occasionally, don't they?
West Tip fell at Beechers.
Edit that bit on your show.
Yeah. Right. That's him. He'll never be back. Right, you can go down. Friend of the show, Gordon Elliott, joined us now. 23 entries. That itself is an achievement.
Yeah, no, look, it's great to have that many entries in the race. Look, it's one of the greatest races in the world, so if you're not in, you can't win. Obviously, it's a nearly close race, so you have to go as many as you can.
Caucus all the way back to Silver Birch. You hadn't trained a winner in England and in Ireland back then.
Yeah, no winners trained in Ireland. A couple of winners in the UK at the time, I think 3. You know, what we didn't appreciate now the first year, one of them, probably very easy, but took a couple of years to win it again. The way that them back to back with Tiger Roll was something special. Yeah, great days.
Tiger Roll, and since Red Rum, I think Tiger Roll's probably the one name that people, non-racing people who I see, know Tiger Roll.
Yeah, look, he probably caught their imagination, I suppose, after winning a couple of cross-country races in Cheltenham, and he's not the biggest in the world. He's kind of a people's horse.
Who's the Tiger Roll this year? You're 23, you got Delta Work?
No, I think Delta Work, Gal and Chemical Energy can probably look the 4 main ones. But I'll probably forgetting about a few of this. They'll run as many as I can in the race. So hopefully we'll end up with 10 or 12 runners.
Chemical Energy, we haven't seen him since the Kerry National. Is that on purpose?
Yeah, I'm keeping him with good grounds. He had a couple of engagements, the ground was just too soft, so he's entering the Bobby George weekend, but if the ground was very soft, he won't run, he could go straight into, but he keeps a lot of us.
Galvin, I know it didn't happen from last year, but he looks like he could be well treated this time around.
Yeah, I think he is under 11 stone there. He's nearly top weight last year. The only stuff about him, definitely.
I wonder if Jack Kennedy could ride one today. Which one do you think he'd go for?
I'd say he'd probably go, I'd say Galvin or maybe Conflate down to work. If me or you, I think we'd be right both. He'd be the same for some, but I'd say Jack. If it goes to me head, I'd probably go Galvin.
Right.
Chemical Energy.
Owen MC. And they'll go to Cheltenham first one for the cross country.
Yeah.
Galvin and Delta Work.
Galvin and Delta Work will go for the cross country race. Coco Beach will go for the cross country race. Conflate will go for the Ryanair. Chemical Energy, a few of them will go straight to the Grand National,
Big line, the Cheltenham team all happy?
Yeah,
strong team.
All in good form. We'll probably end up somewhere between 40 and 60 runners. Rather than the last couple of bits, also nothing more to them.
It's unbelievable. You think 40, 60 runners at Cheltenham, 23 entries. It is unreal, isn't it?
Yeah, look, we've a great system at home, great team behind me, so we're looking for it.
Good stuff, we wish you well.
Thanks, Al.
Well, Hewick's got top weight, but will he run this? That's a great man. Shark Hanlon, is he going to go?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Hopefully we're going to Cheltenham for the Gold Cup, and everything going to plan is a month later, so why not? It's a great race, and I always said that he's a national horse because he's won over 3-5. 4 mile won't be any harm. But
I'm just thinking if he won the Grand National, it seems they never see the like of it.
well, listen, we caused a bit of a scene in Kempton. I don't know if we're right or wrong, but I know the people enjoyed it and I enjoyed it. So that's what it's all about. That's what racing is about. You enjoy everywhere you go.
£800. He's now in 169. What he's done in America, the King George's, he's going to line up with a Gold Cup. It's unbelievable.
It's beyond unreal. Like, I need a Galway plate there. To win a Galway plate for us was special at the time. I had my mother and father there, and then go to America, win a 365. He's done everything for us. Yeah. He's done everything for us. And now, hopefully the chapter is not finished yet.
Yeah. Jordan Guilford gets on well, and Gavin Sheehan won the King George ride.
Both lads are very good riders. We haven't decided, we haven't said yeah or no to any of them. It's great to have two lads of their talent to be with us. So Jordan Guilford has been unlucky. He got hurt to miss the King George, but Gavin gave him a super ride, and that's all he did. So listen, we'll probably make a decision in a week's time or 10 days' time, and we'll let you know.
Good stuff. So, Gold Cup, win that, line up for the Grand National, win that, party all night.
Party all night. Win or lose.
Yeah. Well, the man with the task of getting the weights right for the 34 horses this year is Martin Greenwood once again. A little bit different. Does it make any difference? Not really. The number?
No. I just handicap the horses. They come my way. Obviously, I've got 6 less to worry about on the day, but it doesn't affect anything. Normal procedure.
169 top rated Hewick. The Grand National's changed quality-wise. Unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, he's a great horse. Rags to riches story. If he runs, he'll add some colour to an already fantastic
Shark
race.
says he runs. He runs.
They're a game set of owners and a game trainer. It wouldn't surprise me if he runs in the Gold Cup and runs in the National.
Yeah.
So, an already fascinating race. He'll add even further colour. A great horse, great story. That's actually his rating. There's no compression this year. He's rated 169 in the UK after Kempton. So that's the rate he's got.
What do you think, roughly? What would you need to be to get in? Number 34.
Historically, and taking 6 out of the equation from previous years, we're looking about 144. So about 10 stone 1 at the minute. Last year was a bit of an anomaly because we had our horses out of the handicap for the first time in about 13 years.
Yeah.
So our horse rate 137 actually ran.
Yeah.
So that does give a chink of light to some of those horses down the bottom.
So quality-wise, it's buying up to renewal.
Yeah, most of the top end, we've got as many horses rated 155 plus than we have for the last few years. It's just a red hot handicap like it is every year. So fingers crossed.
What's the 1 or 2 horses that give you the most problem that you weren't sure about?
Again, I don't want to sound too blasé about this. I try and approach it like any other race. No real sticking points. Foxy Jacks is one that's got a massive differential from the Irish rating, but that's simply because we run a cross-country race and the Irish guys don't clearly notice of that. But most of the Irish runners are on around the Irish marks. Nothing sticks out. All the unexposed horses being under the water, for instance, they're the horses that give any handicapper a problem because they're unexposed by their very nature,
Yeah, good stuff. Well done.
Peter Scudamore joins me now, work rider of Corach Rambler, last year's winner. We're not going to talk about your record in the Grand National, are we?
No, it's not as good as Corach Ramblers, but the family's done all right. So
you have, no, absolutely. But it's a special race. You talk about your family. It's a special race for all of us who work in horse racing. It's a magic race.
Yeah, it takes us above the normality of horse racing. Cheltenham is absolutely fantastic, but I think the Grand National takes us into a much more public audience.
Yeah, as a kid growing up, I'm Granville again, Bonanza Boy, Carvel, I can name them all. Was Corach Rambler your best day in horse racing?
He's definitely a unique horse to have won twice at the Cheltenham Festival. I mean, when you mention those horses, it's like dividing your children up to say you've got a preference for one or the other. Has racing improved? I don't know. You can only do what you can do at the time, and I just believe that what Corach did twice around Cheltenham was quite extraordinary. I think you have to go back to. I think Thomas did it on Tompa 2, didn't he? And before your time, I remember a horse called Scott Lane doing it.
I remember the name.
So Martin Tate, who sadly passed away, not son, he was a great man. And I do appreciate, I don't know, these horses are just extraordinary, and we're so lucky to be with them.
How is he?
Seems very well. He's got a major gallop this week, and it's the same timing as last. So we've just put the thing in what we did last year, and hope it's good enough.
Look forward to seeing you back here in April. Wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Okay, weights have been announced. 34 horses will be lining up for the Randox Grand National. And Michael Shinners from Sky Bet joins us. Thoughts?
Thoughts, Niall? Corach Rambler.
That's original?
No, I haven't finished the thing. Corach Rambler. Pause. Favourite with ourselves at 11 to 1. But as you would expect now, a wide open affair, plenty of quality in there.
And try and say Gordon Elliott's got plenty and Willie Mullins, and then you've...
Yeah, and then I've covered everything. I suppose the talking point, Hewick top weight, Corach Rambler favourite, and Gordon Elliott could run his own mini Grand National.
He could do. 23 of them he's got in, looking to win it for a 4th time. If he's short of jockeys and he asked you nearly could actually. You've lost a bit of timber, not loads, but a bit. But if he had a shave and he asked you to get on one horse, if Randox approached you and said you can ride any horse, go on, get the whip out. Which one would you like to get on?
You do that, don't you? You've done. I've seen you do that.
Yeah.
No, I saw you do that yesterday. You had a stick, and when we were at Carlisle.
I had a stick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Mark Howard's walking stick. Yeah.
But I saw you. I don't know. I mean, I suppose Galvin is a classy horse, isn't he?
He's well handicapped. If he goes, his horse could shorten if he runs well in the cross country at Cheltenham.
Yeah,
he'll shorten. So yeah, I'll give you that.
The only thing that slightly puts me off is Nicholas Wrigley's comment saying we need to. I know it's tongue in cheek, but make sure that the ground's soft, because I just wonder if Galvin would prefer sort of better ground.
Yeah.
But he's 33 to 1.
Yeah. What price is Hewick?
Hewick is also 33 to 1.
I'm going to fire one horse at you.
Okay, go on then.
Meeting of the Waters, unexposed. I think he is the winner of the Randox Grand National.
You think he could be a potential steamer as well, don't you?
I do, yeah.
I think it could be money. He's also 33 to 1.
Are you just saying 33 to 1? He's actually 30.
No, not at all. He's genuinely. Those three horses are all 33.
He will not, with Sky Bet or anyone, he will shorten. He will. He needs a few out, but he'll get in. What he done at Leopardstown, connections. Noble Yates was a novice when Meeting of the Waters wins a national. Would you ride him? Knowing he's got a lightweight.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I love horses. I think they're magnificent animals. Slightly scared of them now, to be honest, and certainly would be very, very anxious.
But they're a flight animal.
Yeah.
If they feel your nerves, they're going to go whoosh. Well, and it could be a faster time than Mr. Frisk when he won in 1990.
Marcus Armitage.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've seen. No, I wouldn't. I know. I'll leave
you're keeping your feet on the old terracotta, as Del Boy said.
Good line. I'll keep it to the professionals. But no, I think that Meeting of the Waters, like you said, very interesting connections as well. Very, very shrewd. But yeah, at the moment, Randox Grand National 2024. It's 11 to 1. 11 to 1 the field. 11-12 to 1 the field. And it looks like it's going to be a cracker.
I won't hold you long because I know you've got dessert to eat, or maybe you're not now if you're thinking about riding. Take the riding hat off for a second. Chin strap undone. Put your company hat on.
Yeah.
Will 34 runners change it or not really? Because the once-a-year punters will just still dial in, and offers on the day will slightly change. Because remember last year you were given lots of offers. I nearly thought you were a charity, not a bookmaker.
Will the 34 will it make a difference? Probably not. I think the moving of it forward to a 4 o'clock start. Obviously, you've got an hour and 3/4 or whatever it is less for people to bet, and you might think, but it's amazing how many people leave it till the last minute their bets. Will we offer extra places? 100%. I'd like to think that we'll certainly be offering more than 4 places anyway, which will be your standard place terms. And whatever, yes, there have been alterations, but whatever you say, Niall, this is the biggest betting race that we bet on all year, and not just by a little bit, by a considerable amount. And I think that the changes that the Aintree executive have made I think it will reassure people, and I think that they will be still as much interest as always has been.
I'm going to get stuck in. £2.50, please, on Meeting of the Waters each way.
33 to 1.
Thank you. Galvin?
I'm going to go Galvin. I'm going to go Galvin.
What's the one on £2.50 each way?
I'll have £2.50 each way. Galvin. Obviously, I wouldn't bet it with Sky Bet, but I'll be doing it with another bookmaker.
Okay. There you go. There's 2 losers. What do you fancy? Do get in touch the normal way, and we'll see you soon.